June the 8th, 2019. Guys, you're looking at WAFB out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And this was updated last night at 6:53 a.m. And it's kind of like a prayer come true, because in one of the last videos I did a couple of days, we saw the farmer there that was below this Morganza Spillway. And this is not current images. This is the last time they opened, I think in 2011. But he was trying to keep his chin up, talking about losing about 1,000 acres of crops there, and about 25,000 acres for the among the different farmers there. And you think about it, he said he had $300,000 in planting that 1,000 acres, and it means a lot to those people. And frankly, the U.S. does not need to leave or lose any more cropland. And so I think some prayers have been answered, because when I did the video, I was really concerned, because, guys, I've spent time down in this area, went to school down there in Buras, Louisiana, down on the other side of Port Sulphur, and not under the Morganza Spillway, but in South Louisiana in the same bayou-type environment. It's a beautiful country. Everybody down there is hard-working, and most are self-sufficient. But anyway, the good news is the Morganza Spillway will not open Sunday, tomorrow on the 9th. Remember, that was the schedule. They had put it back, and then the farmers had started getting the cattle out and doing, which is the least they could do, because they could not move the crops. Think about that feeling of loss, about 300,000, and working a year with no pay. But anyway, prayers have been answered. They're not going to open the spillway. They're going to watch the Mississippi River as it starts to crest. And so out of all the chaos, guys, that we've seen this spring through the tornadoes and floods and every possible thing you could think of, an early hurricane season getting started. And by the way, that storm passed through Baton Rouge pretty fast. A lot of rain was dumped, but 3 tornadoes, guys. And it was very active to just be a tropical system, even as far south as Orange Beach and Perdido Key, Florida, where I was working for the last 2 days. The winds were high, the rip currents were high, and the waves were high. So it was a tropical system that never fully formed into what would have become Barry, but it dumped a lot of rain. And rip currents are still out in the panhandle of Florida. But it's saying that a spokesperson for the Coastal Protection and Restoration Authority says the Morganza Spillway will not open Sunday. The date of the opening was pushed back, remember, to Sunday, June 9th. On Wednesday, officials said they would only release 20% of the water they initially planned to send into the Chaffalaa Basin. On Thursday, a spokesperson for the CPRA announced they would not be opening the spillway on Sunday. It says the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers released the following statement. Based on the current forecast, the Corps will not operate the Morganza floodway on June 9th and does not have an expected operating date. That means opening the gates. Future weather events could impact Mississippi River levels, and the Corps will continue to monitor the forecast daily as conditions can change. Operations of the structure will be a consideration until the Mississippi River crests and begins to fall. The expected crest at Morganza is on or about June 15th, but it will then remain high for 2 weeks or more. The Army Corps of Engineers only intends to operate the structure when needed, as to not put additional water into the Chaffalaa Basin. Guys, a blessing for the people there. But let me say this, just like the Corps said, after it gets up to a peak, you got a couple weeks there, as it's going to be very high. And any additional storms and all could change it, so don't let your guard down. I know the cattle have been moved. I don't necessarily think that I would put them back yet. But again, what a blessing. The further they can put this off, maybe the farmers can get a harvest. Maybe it will be put off altogether. But guys, just think about it. Again, some light in all this chaos that we've been seeing in the weather. Now, we've got to watch the tropical system. There's nothing going on right now, but we know it's going to heat back up. And we see how chaotic and kind of how strange this storm was, just going, kind of coming into the Bay of Campeche and all the way up the Texas coast, going inland. And guys, there were some strong storms in a lot of places during this passage. So it's just kind of a early warning sign to me that we are going to have a very strong Atlantic hurricane season. But guys, we're watching it. You watch it again. Blessings have been put on the people in the Chaffalay Basin in Louisiana, and that's always a good sign, guys. That's what happens when good, healthy, Christian country people stick together. It's a heads up. Be safe.